Hey guys, how you doing? Hope you're doing okay. We're going to look at two articles. They're in regards to two separate cases. Both are tragic. Both involve the death of children due to a dog attack. So we're going to look at both of them. And I will mention just at the offset that this isn't a passive aggressive attack against dog owners. I love dogs myself. I grew up with dogs. Having said that, in all honesty, to expose my bias, I am wary of larger dogs, particularly those of particular breeds, pit bulls in particular, but other breeds as well. And I do have a fear of them, just for myself. But I am seeing on the internet in general situations like these, too many of them. I'm covering too many, or I'm seeing too many dog attacks when I go through the articles that I do, and I am slightly tempted to overlook the subject because I know a lot of people are, I don't know if offended is the right word, but they don't want to face the subject because they have dogs themselves or their family members have dogs. They're dog lovers. So I get it, and I have been a little bit reluctant to cover this topic, but I think it is important and it is tragic, and I think the victims concerned deserve the respect of some level of coverage from myself, at least. Meaning, here I am just trying to show, or part of what I'm trying to do, not exclusively, but part of what I'm trying to do is show some respect to the victims. So I just feel that it's appropriate for me to go over this topic. Anyhow, let's go with this topic to begin with. I'll give you an overview as best I can. It's in regards to the tragic death of this innocent young girl here, 7 years of age, Olivia Grace Floyd. She was killed last January by her grandparents' Rottweiler, 120 pounds. The incident occurred at the grandparents' home in Waynesboro, Virginia, and essentially the Rottweiler attacked Olivia, the 7-year-old. Another woman was also attacked during the incident. We don't know who that woman is. We have no idea who that woman is or the extent of their injuries, but that is mentioned within the article. But more importantly, not to detract the focus away from the more serious aspect, and that is that Olivia was attacked and she suffered horrendous injuries. She was taken to hospital, but tragically she passed due to her injuries. As I say, that happened last January. There's been an investigation undergoing for quite some time, and as of last Friday, there's been 4 arrests. The 2 grandparents, or the grandmother and the step-grandfather, and the 2 parents. Now, the incident occurred at the grandparents' home. The Rottweiler was the grandparents' dog. And with that, the grandparents face the most harsh charges. And I would say that they are harsh. They face 70 years behind bars each if they're convicted of the charges. And the charges include non-capital murder, involuntary manslaughter, child abuse, and possession of a vicious dog. So if they're found guilty, they face 70 years behind bars. The parents have a lesser charge against them. Their charge is cruelty or injure to a child, and with that they face 5 years in jail each if they're convicted. Their names are Brooke Anthony Floyd, Alicia Renee Floyd, Penny Lee Bashlaw, and Stephen Kashmar. So I'm just going to throw in a comment here. We'll carry on with this article in just a moment, but just quickly, part of the tragedy in this situation, of course, I don't wish to detract. The main tragedy is the loss of an innocent life in a horrendous way, Olivia Grace Floyd. But I am going to add to that the family is still in turmoil. You know, they've lost their daughter, their granddaughter, their sister. We don't know the name of the younger sister. But what a situation that she's in. The whole family is still reeling from this. The whole family, the grandparents, the parents, they have to concentrate their lives in defending themselves. That's what they have to do. They have to defend themselves in this criminal court, criminal trial. If they're found guilty, they're going to be jailed. So the disruption to this family is, well, if they are convicted, it's going to be, the destruction to the family will be complete. But I mean, it's such a shame that it's this situation has really destroyed this family, and I feel ever so sorry, of course, to the lost girl, Olivia, but to her sister as well. She might well become, I mean, I guess not technically an orphan, but she'll perhaps have to be raised by, hopefully there's other loving family members that she can be raised by, but otherwise she may have to be, I don't really know the protocols, but adopted, looked after by the state initially, etc., etc. I mean, it's just harrowing the amount of damage that this situation has occurred, that's occurred by this situation. I don't know if that's a picture of the actual dog, but certainly that's a picture of a Rottweiler. The Rottweiler, okay, in both of these cases, and we'll move on to the second case in just a moment, but one of the telling aspects with both of these cases is that the dogs in question have a history of attacking people, strangers. And I'll say it straight up. In my mind, they ought to have been put down. If they've got a history of attacking strangers without provocation, if that is the case, I don't know the full details, of course, but if that is the case, then I would have thought that they ought to have been put down, euthanized. That would be my feeling, straight up. And part of the reason I would go there without too much mental processing, I'd go there pretty quickly, is because of how dangerous they can be. These larger breeds, a 120-pound dog can overpower anybody. Okay, fine, it's not going to overpower, let's say, a bodybuilder, perhaps, but it's certainly going to overpower children, women, and a lot of men, even groups of people. So there is an example which occurred in September 2020. A 23-year-old man, a stranger basically, was minding his own business, walking down the road, and the Rottweiler pulled away from the leash. We don't know who was holding the leash, but it was a woman. Is that relevant? Perhaps. Because a woman is going to be less able to restrain a dog of this size than a man would be able to. Not that a man could easily have also had the dog pull away from them, but I think you understand my meaning. And the dog bit the victim, perhaps multiple times. It's not totally clear, but the attack left a permanent scar on the man's chest. And the victim claimed that the dog was very aggressive. And seemingly all that happened was the dog was quarantined at home for 10 days and there were no charges filed. So to me, that's not good enough. What can you do? What are the options here? You can't jail a dog. I mean, I'm sorry, and I have been. Did I mention that I have been reluctant to cover this type of topic because I know how emotional it is for dog owners, in particular, for those that love dogs. I love dogs. I love the cuddly types. But yeah, to me, if a dog like this attacks somebody, you have to euthanize them. As emotionally hard as that may be for the owners, for those that love the dogs, it's just kind of, you have to do it because you would not want a repeat of the incident, for it to lead to the death of somebody or severe injury. So it is what it is. So I will move on to the second article in just one moment, but before I do, I just need to read out this little aspect in regards to Olivia. Olivia was remembered in her obituary as a second grader who loved cheerleading, gymnastics, dance, unicorns, and animals. Her family requested that those attending her funeral wear clothing congruent with the celebration, including the child's favourite colours, pink and purple. So again, this one is such a tragic case. The brutal death of 7-year-old Olivia Grace Floyd, and the ongoing tragedy that's going to occur, that's befallen the family. And I do feel empathy for them. I do. Um, and I'm not assuming that they're evil people. Of course, they wouldn't want this to happen. Of course not. This has destroyed them. Uh, to me, I don't know, but it's destroyed the entire family. With the grandparents facing up to 70 years in jail, the parents facing up to 5 years in jail. Of course, they've got to concentrate on their defense. And where does that leave the younger sister? And again, we don't know her name, but what kind of turmoil must she be facing? We're going to move on to the next article, and it is a tragedy. I've already made a video a couple of days ago in regards to this case, but more information has come out. So this is in regards to a 3-year-old boy who was killed by a dog, if I understand correctly, at his family farm. And here is the boy, Daniel Twig. He was a happy, kind, and caring little boy who was loved by all. Here's the property, a beautiful rural property in Rochdale, Greater Manchester. This is where the attack occurred. Now, if I understand correctly, he lived there. He was a part of the family. Yeah, it's the family home, I think. And I think the dog is a part of the family or a part of the farm. So they do have these signs on the property. Dogs are loose. Do not exit your vehicle. Yeah. You know what? I'm just going to backtrack on what I just said a moment ago. I'm not sure if the boy lived here or not. It's not entirely clear. It's not entirely clear, but perhaps not. So the article doesn't confirm if the young boy lived at the property or not, but it does tell us that he was outside of the property, in the road, shortly before 1 p.m. on Sunday when the incident occurred. And the police have arrested the animal's 48-year-old owner over the death, but that's not saying whether or not that's a family member, so it's a little bit in limbo. I'm going to edge towards Daniel is not a part of the family, um, or it's not his actual home, is my guess, but I am guessing. But in any case, the dog attacked Daniel. He was taken to hospital by ambulance where he was sadly pronounced dead. And a Cane Corso breed dog has been destroyed and others seized. So are you familiar with a Cane Corso dog? I wasn't. But this is a Cane Corso dog. Pardon my French, pretty fucking big. Pretty fucking huge. I don't know it. I'm not familiar with this breed at all. So certainly is going to have some strength. I don't know if they have a tendency to be violent. I don't know. But honestly, the more, for me, just really because of, what I've so-called read, what I've been told, the more they look like a pit bull, the more scared of them I am. And that looks like a pit bull to me. Similar to a pit bull. I'm sorry, I don't mean to attack dog owners. It's just, they literally scare me. And unfortunately, with this case here, it tells us that there's been, I think, multiple attacks by this dog. One of the dogs, there are several dogs of the same breed at this property, I believe. One of the dogs had attacked 2 female walkers in the area before, leaving one with horrendous injuries, but the owner was never convicted. So the victim here claims 2 dogs charged at her from the same property last year. So I believe I'm right in saying that this is the same property. So there we go. I'm going to wrap things up here, guys. Thanks for listening. Thanks for listening. I do find it a terrible subject. And of course, condolences to both families concerned. The family of Daniel Twigg and the family of Olivia Grace Floyd. Full condolences. So I don't know what the point here is. I'm going to carry on focusing on these topics, or rather, I'm not going to gloss over them. I will cover them in all likelihood. I just want to get a little better understanding as I move forward in regards to how dangerous these dogs are. Is it certain breeds? Are the incidences very low in percentage wise? How often does a cane corso get involved with a severe attack that causes severe injury or death? Maybe it's incredibly rare. I don't know. But if it isn't incredibly rare, and also if these attacks are on the increase, I mean, I should imagine that's fairly unlikely that the level of these dog attacks are increasing, the number of them, the rate of them. I guess that's pretty unlikely. But if it is the case, then surely we ought to have some level of awareness of that. Surely that's something which ought to be questioned and investigated. But anyway, I'm going to wrap things up here, guys. I think I may not make any more videos today. I'm just keep things light today, but I do have several that I'll go over tomorrow. So I'll wrap things up, and you guys take care. Thanks.